I should have done some push-ups before I started this thing.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Wakanda forever.
What did they do again? It was like.
Hey guys, today I have a video today about entrepreneurship with my best friend Janine, also known as
Suzi Soma.
So today she's going to share some tips about entrepreneurship while being a college student, her story, her success, her failures, everything in between, and some tips and tricks on how to go through entrepreneurship in the ins and outs, the uglies and the beauties about entrepreneurship. So I'm gonna let her tell you a bit about her business so we can get a feel of what's going on.
All right, so it's a pleasure being on the Olivia B1 show. I'm really excited, and entrepreneurship is something that has been a passion for me since I was little. I was first an entrepreneur when I was actually 7 years old, and I forgot all about this, but basically I made a dress. One of my classmates liked it, I sold it, and that was kind of, I guess, one of the first times I made money from being creative. So now I have a choker line, and the name of it is Suzi Soma, and I handcraft my chokers. And the thing that drives me is just inspiring women and keeping them in touch with the fact that they are limitless. So each choker has an affirmation. I'm definitely a big believer in your thoughts creating your reality. I know it's really popular to say that, but it's something that I experience. And I stay motivated by keeping my thoughts not just positive, but really creative. I think that's what it's all about. My journey so far, this is actually going on my second year that I've been doing Suzi Soma. It started off originally the Silky Loft, and I made some changes. I decided I wasn't going to just, do something. I was going to really commit to it, and I knew I loved the name Suzi Soma. Some people call me that. So I was like, let me just make it Suzi Soma, and then let me just really dedicate to this.
That was actually my next question. What made you choose Suzi Soma, and what are some suggestions you would tell new entrepreneurs who are trying to find a name? Like sometimes you're trying to all these hours, oh my gosh, what's the name going to be? What are some ways, or at least in your experience, how did you kind of find your name to kind of sum up everything?
So for me, luckily the name came together. I was inspired by Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, and I was also reading that book in class and then learning about Soma, which is the planet of the gods. In my world's religions class, we learned about it. So I thought it was just very interesting. So I would say look towards things that inspire you naturally, things that are around you, and then if that doesn't just let something click, then just write in a notebook. Bunch of different names, and then just play around with it, whenever you get a little idea for it, and then just, it'll come to you.
Right.
But just keep focusing on it. Don't just tuck it away or let it get in the way of doing what you have to do.
Awesome. So what would you say to people who want to be entrepreneurs, but they feel like they're not the innovators, they don't really know how to be in the entrepreneurial space because they don't really have an idea, they just know they want to be in that space. I know a lot of times, I listened to a podcast and the lady said she wasn't the person to make the ideas, it's just that somebody would come to her with ideas and she knows how to execute it. So for you, what I'm asking is, do you think, what kind of spaces do you think people could be in that's not exactly, here's my brand idea and
exactly what you said. If that's not your forte, first off, start with what is your forte, and then just go with that. If you're creative, sometimes we want to do everything because we're like, oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. What do you like doing, and what do you do best?
Right.
Or how can you do what you like and be the best with it? Think about it in that way. And if, say you're not so good at coming up with a million ideas, then are you good at actually putting the work in? Because you might be the person who compliments me, and for me, I have a million ideas, but you might be the person who helps me to get it together and execute. Maybe you build websites. That's something that I started doing. Or maybe you are great at putting together chairs. Not everything there's so much that you can do. Basically.
Exactly. So you have some tips that you want to share to the people, right?
Yes. So I would say entrepreneurship, first things first, just do it. Just do it. Get started.
Yeah.
For me, for a while, I wanted it to just start off. I wanted everything to fall into place, and you know, you want it to be perfect, and you're nervous about putting your work out there, but just go ahead and do it, because once you put your work out there, you kind of get that ball rolling. At the same time, keep in mind that how you start off will leave more of an impression, but just do it.
So do you have any like other tips in terms of just like actually doing it? So now that you're ready to do it,
you did it. You did that.
You finally have to.
So actually, before you even just do it, you might, or really you should, do a bunch of research, figure out how to do it, ask your friends, figure out ways to make it easier for yourself, and just empower yourself with knowledge.
Yeah. 2 questions. I guess you can answer any order, or they might not be related. But you are a college student. You have a job, X, Y, and Z. So how do you balance, what would you tell a college student how to go about this journey? Because yeah, they want to do it, they did the research, but now they're like, time. So, or whatever the situation is that makes it hard for college students to be in a business. So what would you say to a college student?
So you really need to cut down on social media. Sorry to break it to you, but cut down on social media.
Even though people use social media for their platform?
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference. A lot of times, 90% of the time that you're using your social media is unrelated to your platform if you're the typical person. If you're using it for social media already, then this doesn't apply to you, and you're spending most of that time, you know, posting, planning what you want to post for your page. You know, it's different. But a lot of times we have time in between classes or while we're at work, and you might be just browsing on Twitter or Instagram, and it's very easy for you to feel like, okay, I'm just on my phone. But those are minutes, hours, and it just all accumulates. And if you have a break of time where you don't have your phone, you'll quickly realize that you're, getting those little things that can pile up, and we might leave it for the end of the day. You get that out the way. So if you can cut back on your phone in general, texting people back, you don't need to text everybody back right at that moment.
Back to your tip about research. What are some tricks of the trade, I guess, that you found? Like, what are some gems you want to drop to the people out there, like things that you use to help with your business?
Yeah, I would say if you can kind of automate, going back to timing, if you can have a planner for Instagram, there are different planners that you can use. The one that I use is called Preview, and you can actually use that app to plan out which posts you want to make. And if you're somebody like me, and sometimes you might not post as often as you want to, then definitely check it out, because what you'll find is it's easier to do a batch of photos and get those together and plan them how you want, so that way you can just go in, and during the week, you might even be in class, you can just post. And you can even put in the caption. So find different things. As far as research, that applies to apps. Find different apps that can help you to save your time.
Okay.
And keep your time in mind. Make things easier for yourself. So with my chokers, these are actually one size fits all. And the class on them, each choker that I make, I keep that in mind, because initially I started off, and of course I had different sizes, and I quickly changed that. So keep that in mind while you're building up your business, because you don't want to box yourself in and create something that's going to take up more time than you can deliver on.
And any gems that she drops in terms of like things you can use, I'll put in the description box down below. Do you use an e-commerce website for your stuff, or so like what do you use? So what would you recommend?
Okay, so what I would recommend, if you want to keep your budget minimal, what I started off with was Big Cartel. And with Big Cartel, you don't need a domain. Domains are actually pretty inexpensive, and I like that it gives a professional look. So I use GoDaddy for my domain. There are a lot of different hosts. You can use Bluehost. There's just a bunch of different hosts. So just do your research for that. And as far as my website, initially Big Cartel is what I use, but it's not necessarily super flexible, so I have recently changed over to Squarespace. Ooh, big key. There's a 50% discount off for the first year with Squarespace. So I paid $108 for Squarespace, the business platform. And I like that you can actually put as many products on there. You can have your own domain, everything.
Right.
Yeah. So if you want to save money, Big Cartel is an option. It's actually free, and you can put 5 products up, but you can't have a domain. It's $10 if you want to use a domain. Okay.
So any other tips that you would like to suggest to people?
Alright, so my last tip that I would suggest is stay in your lane. And my wise mentor told me this: don't try to do everything. And it was good that she told me that, because I was playing all these different products, but staying in your lane, you go further with less, and people can say, oh, you do this. They can connect.
You're the choker girl. You're the this girl. You're the.
She makes chokers.
Yeah.
So try to stay in your lane, because even technically you save more time. You're just making one product. Your inventory, you'll only have to focus on one thing instead of, multiple tools for different products. If you're making candles and you're making jewelry, that's 2 different types of supplies. And another thing about staying in your lane, know who you're targeting. Don't get confused and try to target everybody.
Yeah.
You're not for everybody. I'm not everybody's tea.
Yeah.
And that's cool, because I'm Soma. So just know who your audience is, so that way you can better serve them.
You talked about, reaching out to certain audiences. So how do you reach out to your audiences? What do you use? Social media platforms, word of mouth? What's your strongest selling point? And if you do use social media, what platforms is best for you? Like, it came to your sales, was Twitter, was Instagram? I know a lot of times people are trying to figure out what space is best to promote their stuff. Is it YouTube? Like, what are your ideas?
So I'm not perfect. I gotta get better at social media, I swear. But I will say, Twitter has gotten me money. Twitter has made some sales for me, and Twitter should not be slept on. I know Instagram is the biggest platform, but Twitter, the ability to retweet a post and for a post to go viral is tremendous.
That's very true.
So,
you can't do that on Instagram.
Yeah, when I post my chokers, sometimes I'll reply to different threads. That's another option for you, to reply to threads, post your chokers, and have people retweet. Well, I don't really have them retweet it, but post your stuff, show your work, and people will retweet them. Instagram is great because it's really like a portfolio.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to kind of just meet, potential clients or models. I know a lot of people who will follow people on Instagram that they think are their potential clients.
Yeah.
You can hashtag, and that's how you can find people or get new followers.
The power of hashtags is real.
So word of mouth. Always have your cards on you.
What did you use for your cards? Just to throw it out there for people.
Yeah, okay, Vistaprint.
Vistaprint, okay. Did you make the actual design and then put on Vistaprint, or you hired?
Yeah, so for the design, I really put it together with 2 things. So Fiverr.com is a big asset to any entrepreneur or just any creative in general. You can make flyers, posters, business cards.
It's great.
You can make logos. That's where I made my logo, and then I put the logo onto Vistaprint.
Yeah, Fiverr is really great. I use it for my organization that I have, and it was only $5. Tip the people who do it though. And also, I'm no business owner, but I think it's important to know your ecosystem, and like, if you're building up a brand or a company, look around. Who are the people closest to you? What services are they really talented in? And tip them. Give them some money just to show their support, that you support their brand, support their skills, so they can support back to you. But or just give just shout them out or whatever you can. But just remember to look back at your ecosystem, because they're most likely to be your first buyers or whatever. So or your first advertisers. They're the first ones to retweet you. They're the first ones to post out, whatever. So just definitely remember your ecosystem, because that will bring you really far.
So support your friends.
So I guess this is my last question is, you don't have to go into your failures, talk about your failures, but like, what did you have to do to get out of those failures?
To I guess, kind of deal with failure, look at why you failed, and still believe in what you're doing, and then also be led by your mission. So for me, my mission is to empower women and to let them know that they can be creators, they can be limitless.
Right.
So that's something that just empowers what I do. It's something I stay connected to, and it helps me to not get too disheartened by my shortcomings.
So I guess it's very important to kind of make a mission statement that I guess that mission statement part is very important because that's what's going to lead you through the whole journey. So don't just put some words together and think you go by it. Like actually be about it, live by it.
That is true.
So yeah, so it was so great to have you on my channel.
I'm honored. I'm so excited. I'm really proud of you, Olivia. You're doing good.
A lengthy video, but this was all the gems that my fellow entrepreneur had to put out there, and I hope this inspires everybody who's watching this video to just
follow me.
Do it. Wow!
Follow
yes,
me.
You can follow her through social media, not in real life.
You can follow me on Instagram at Suzi Soma Chokers, also on Twitter, and my website is SuziSoma.com. And I'm also on YouTube.
You can't just throw that out there.
I'm on YouTube as of last week, so head over to Suzi Soma on YouTube and check out my first video. It's actually a commercial about this choker right here, the Promise Choker.
She is not here to play with you. She's coming through. Also subscribe to my channel. I make videos about every week, so just click that red button right there.
Right now.
Right.
What you doing?
What you doing? You can't be watching me getting all these gems and not subscribe. Funny. Subscribe and like and leave a comment. What should be the comment for today? Leave down below, what do you plan on doing first to start that process? Alright guys, we out of here. About to, I don't know what we're about to do, but anyways, we about to zoom. Bye!